I grew up on the reservation here in Reno, right on the Reno-Sparks Indian Colony. Grew up there, still live there. Live where my grandfather used to live. My grandfather was kind of my father, so I inherited his house, inherited my mom's house too, which they're both right together. My daughter lives in my mom's house now, and then I live where my grandfather lives. So, I stayed out of about a year out of high school. Didn't know what to do. Turned around and went to a junior college in Kansas called the Haskell Indian Junior College. It was a Native American, federal operated Indian junior college. I think it's a 4-year college now. And then after I got out of there, I stayed out another year. By the time I joined the Army, I was 24 years old, and just wanted to go in the Army. Just said, nah, I'm going to go try. I actually wanted to be a pilot at first, and I missed on the ASVAB test, missed being a pilot by 1 point, and they wouldn't let me take it over. So my second choice was actually to be a Ranger, and it should have been my first choice because once I did it, I loved it. Just had it in me to realize that this is what I wanted to do. Just knew I could do it, knew I could make it through whatever they gave me, knew I wasn't going to quit, and just to be a bearer, not just a wearer of the scroll, or the tabs. And it's for the country, and I knew that a lot of special things, I know a lot of the Green Berets don't like you calling that special ops stuff, but that's what they are, it's a lot of special ops stuff, and that's what I wanted to do. My dad, my uncle, and even my little half brother are Marines, and I knew I wanted to be something a little different, than just a Marine or just an Army guy, So our class was pretty much, the attrition rate was, a good 70%, 65. The attrition rate for Rangers is anywhere from 64 to 75%. We started with 3 platoons through RIP, which is Ranger Indoctrination Program, which is pretty much 3 weeks of hell. If you get an hour of sleep, they release you at 5 o'clock and you get an hour of sleep, and the first call's at 6. But if you have to rig your stuff for the next day, you're going to go into it for 15 minutes, so you're going to get 45 minutes of sleep for 3 weeks. And it teaches a lot about yourself. But once we graduated, like I said, we started with 3 platoons and we wound up with 1 when we graduated. So the attrition rate was there, and it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. You learned a lot about yourself and your limits and what you can and can't do, and how to push yourself and take care of your buddy too. My accident, how I was injured when my accident was, I was here home on leave. We pretty much were heading home to a friend's house. He fell asleep at the wheel, went across the road. When he heard the dirt, he overcorrected, and there was a slight embankment, rolling slight down embankment. So once he overcorrected, it tilted the car into the soft shoulder. It clipped a boulder, and once it clipped that boulder, we started rolling end over end down that slight embankment. And they estimate we rolled end over end 5 times. In the process, Ranger mentality, save your buddy. And so I'm reaching out, I'm timing these rolls. Every time I'm reaching down and had a death grip on the seat, and then I'm putting my hand on the ceiling of the truck, and it's actually hitting so hard my hand's popping off the ceiling. In the meantime, he's rolling around, and I'm trying to grab him, and I had a lap belt on. That's what kind of helped me stay into position. Even though I went forward, I busted my teeth. They fixed them, but it chipped them pretty well. But finally get a hold of him and pull him into me. When I did that, the truck came down on its last impact, and it was a little half-ton truck, and it broke the back axle, cracked the back axle in half. That's how hard we hit. My door was embedded in the ground, and then his body weight grabbed him just at that time and pulled him into me. And when his body weight came into me, it was just perfect timing that it broke my L3, L4, my lower back. And that belt resisting, and his body weight just kind of snapped my spine. Your vertebrae like this, my x-rays were like this. So they put me back together. They put rods in there, they're called Harrington rods. And that's how they patched me up. And they said I'd never walk again, but I'd have a productive life from a wheelchair. But now I do both. I walk with these braces, and I have a really productive life with this truck around the chair. So I was rehabbed in Palo Alto, California at the VA there, and what they started to do, they put me over a bolster. They put my legs over the bolster, laying flat on my back, and they actually put electrodes into my quadriceps, and they would shock my legs and make my legs flex. They would actually make the quadricep flex so my legs would stick out straight. And they did that for probably a week or 2. And one day they said, okay, Joe, try to move your feet. So I did. I moved my legs by myself. And then that's when all hell came down on me. They started resisting me. The therapist started resisting me with her hand. And eventually I got up to weights, the ankle weights, and then finally I got to get on the universal and use the extension machine and start doing 5 pounds on the extension. And it accelerated from then. And then they started putting me in braces and put me in parallel bars so I could learn how to gait, learn how to use my hips and my quadricep to help me start gating again. So it was quite intensive. I spent 6 months in the hospital and rehabbed all those 6 months, just totally getting myself back in shape, and of course learned to walk again. My pride probably got hurt a little bit once I got hurt, but I always had it in me to accomplish what I wanted to do by myself. Always push myself to do good things, you know, and to better myself, and that kind of helped me in a way. I was humbled up pretty quick. I wasn't so invincible anymore, and wasn't that ranger anymore. And you know how when that accident happened, it was like God reached down and touched me and said, "Hey, you know, we're gonna not let you be a ranger anymore. We're gonna see how you do as a paraplegic." You know, and luckily I had the mentality of the Rangers and what I learned in there, and the never quit attitude. And yeah, it hurt my pride a little bit. But I got back on track. I won't let anybody push me in this chair. Even if I need help, if I'm in the dirt, you know, I get out of it, or I'll get out and, you know, start gimping around on my legs and walking and get myself out of there. So everything I've done, I've tried to do it myself, but there's times when you do need help, you know, and you got to ask for help. And there's a lot of people around me that like to help too. A lot of the ways I've received help with the truck is a lot of sponsorship. You know, a lot of hometown people here are behind this truck. There's probably 12 stickers on this truck, maybe more, but the majority, 90% of those people are here from Reno, and they've always gotten behind me. The hand control MedTech Services has got the hand controls for me. We had to modify them, you know, of course, to get in the truck and put them in the truck, but we've always had a good backing behind us to keep us going and give us that lifeline that we need. When I was a kid, my favorite toys were Army Men and Hot Wheels, and I've been lucky enough to do both of those jobs in my life, you know. And granted, the injury set me off to one. You know, when I was doing one, I got injured, and it allowed me to do the other. And today, this is a Hot Wheel. You know, the Airborne Ranger is a Hot Wheel, so it's pretty cool. But I've always been the truck guy too. Always been around trucks, love trucks, and when I got hurt, I knew I wanted to do motorsport. I knew I wanted to challenge myself to do motorsport with hand controls, and I knew I had to do it with hand controls because I just don't have the dexterity in my feet to handle pedals. So I saw the truck for sale. This was the original Bounty Hunter, and it went and bought it out of Dixon, Illinois, from a guy named Brian Bellini, and he was getting out of it, and we picked it up and just went with it. So this truck's pretty much 18 years old, and 18 plus probably years old. I can show you how I get in the truck, even though it's here in the shop. Usually the big tires are on it, so it's usually a foot and a half taller than it is right now. But we'll show you how I get in there. And usually what I do is roll up to the truck here, and somebody usually comes and grabs my chair and gets it out of the way so I don't run it over. But what I do is get up, pull myself up underneath here, get my leg situated on the bar so it don't slip, and I kind of teeter-totter back and forth, pull myself up this gap, put the other leg into position, the right leg, and I go back to the left leg. And then once I'm there, I grab the handle up here, make sure the belts are already ready, and then swing my right leg around, pull up on the seat, and I just swing back into the seat, and I get situated. I got the steering wheel over here, that way I can get in here, put the steering wheel back on, all locked up, and we get ready.